So here we have a zero emission Renault Kangoo electric van. This is a 2020 model with a 33 kilowatt hour battery, and it is the ML20, so the medium wheelbase van. So this van has got the factory alarm fitted. It's a bog standard business edition. If I just start it up, it's done 21,522 miles. You've got DAB radio with Bluetooth telephone, of course. Doesn't have air conditioning. Most of these electrics don't, because that was an additional option. Basically, electric vans, you drive like an automatic. You have an automatic gear shifter here, but that's not much more than a switch. Cup holders, handbrake, eco switch. It's not much more I can tell you about these vans really. Inside, electric windows, electric mirrors, pretty basic, but what they are nice and quiet, zero emission of course, and the Kangoo is probably the most comfortable electric van out there. They are really nice to drive. This has got the 33 kilowatt hour battery, as I said. Typically these do about 130 to 140 miles in the summer, and then 110 to 120 miles, something like that in the winter. But all the information about the sort of range you would expect with different driving economies is on the website, so do have a look at that. So these vans have strong regen braking, which is something that's very nice, and if you're used to electric vehicles, most drivers favour strong regen because that gives you one pedal driving, and these vans have that. So what that means is you just drive with one foot, drive with the accelerator, and you don't need to use the brakes. So when you need to slow down, you just slowly lift off the accelerator and the van will slow down on the motor. So regen braking has got nothing to do with the brakes, it's just engine braking like you would have in a combustion engine vehicle. But unlike combustion engine vehicles, it's much stronger. So the way it works is when you're accelerating, you're putting electricity into that motor's then turning your front wheels. When you lift off the accelerator, that motor is still being turned because it's connected to your wheels and the van's going forward. So instantly that motor turns into a dynamo effectively, and it starts generating electricity and it puts it back into your battery pack. So all the time you're slowing down, you're charging the vehicle. So that's going to extend your range, make your driving efficiency but much better. But it means you're slowing down on the motor and you're not using the friction brakes. So you're not creating brake dust and wearing out your brake pads. Instead you're charging the battery. So it's a nice way of driving, very efficient way of driving, but you just got to just get used to reading the road ahead, maybe lifting off the accelerator sooner so you're coasting, and the more you can coast, the more you're charging your battery pack and therefore driving more efficiently and therefore extending your range. These vans also have preconditioning, so you can set the heating to that little timer there, and then using the buttons on the end of the stalk, there is a option here called Comfort Program, and it's currently set to 8 PM. So you tell it what time you want to leave in the morning, and while the van is still connected to the charger, because it would typically be charging overnight, the van will switch on and get ready for that time you want to leave. So in the winter it comes on about 20-25 minutes earlier than you want to leave. So the van will switch on, it will put the heating on, and it will melt all the ice off the windows and get the cabin up to temperature. So when you come to leave, you disconnect, you've still got 100% battery, 100% range, and then maybe you can do your drive without the heating on at all because the cabin's already warm, or certainly you could probably turn it down a lot, and therefore it sort of maximizes your winter range. Because I'm sure you've heard that electric vehicles do less range in the winter, and that's primarily because the heating uses a lot of energy because it's an electric heater, and that energy is coming from your traction battery. So if you use the heater, you are going to see a reduction in range just because that does consume an awful lot of energy. And preconditioning minimises that, but it's also very nice. It's nice in the winter to get into a van that's already warm, and you don't need to scrape the ice off the windows because that's already melted, certainly melted to enough that you could safely put the wipers on and wipe it all away. And it does all that while the van is locked and safe as well. So This has got solid bulkhead, ply lined, which has been stained, and a sliding door on the near side. And as you can see, there's a spinning vent on the top of the van, which is there. So your charging is done at the front behind the Renault badge, and here is your charge port, which is a Type 2 AC charging, and it's at 7.4 kilowatts. So typically you'll be charging this overnight while you sleep, whether it's at your house or back at base, or if you want to, top ups throughout the day while you're working on a 3-pin plug using a portable charger. These vans do not have DC rapid charging, so they're no good for the really long distances, but typically the people that will be using these vans will be driving locally, and if the range of the van is more than your daily use, which for most people is going to be, then you're not going to use DC rapid charging anyway. In the back here is your charging cable. This has got Type 2, which plugs into a wall charger or AC public charging post, that's all standard, and then Type 2 for this end, which plugs into the front of the van. So you use this cable to plug into your home or workplace wall charger if it's not tethered, i.e. it hasn't got a cable on it, and you want to keep this in the van because it allows you to then plug into a public AC charging post. I can also supply a portable charger, often called a granny cable, which will allow you to charge the van on a 3-pin plug, i.e. a normal main socket. So this has just had a service as well. It's got new wiper blades, a new cabin filter, all the brakes have been removed and cleaned, so brake lubrication service. Also we remove all the windscreen scuttle and clear the drains that drain the water down to the footwells, because on the Kangoos the drain holes can get clogged up with leaves and things. Not normally at this age, but when they're older, but we do it with all the vehicles just to make sure they're all good when they go. So that's been done. Oh, and also the battery pack, scan that, and that is still at 99% state of health. This van is also still covered by the manufacturer's warranty. All the details are on the website, but the van is still warranted until October this year. The electric powertrain, that's all high voltage components, so basically everything under the bonnet is for then another further year, and the battery pack is for another further year beyond that. And the battery packs are really good on these. You've got absolutely no worries there. I know there was a lot of rumours about batteries will only last 3 or 4 years. Complete load of rubbish. The reality is that battery pack will probably last the life of the vehicle, and typically they degrade at 1% or less per year. But as I've shown you, this one is still at 99%. So next, let's show you the condition, because that's the purpose of this video primarily. And if you see my videos before, you know I point out every little minor stone chip mark or scratch I can find. I don't hide anything, because I want people to know exactly what they're getting. And then these videos give people the confidence to buy the vehicle without coming to view it first, and then I can deliver them anywhere in the country. So very little to show you on this one. It's in very nice condition. I'm going to be super picky, and to be honest, on a van people really don't care about the minor little imperfections. It's more of a tool for your trade. But so yeah, everything I'm going to show you really is insignificant. It's a lovely condition van, this one. But anyway, let's start here and do a walk around. So this side, bumper's all nice. There is no dents or scratches in the bodywork at all, apart from some very minor little chips, which I'll show you. Wheel trim's all good here. Tyres are all good as well. There is a tiny little stone chip there, absolutely minute. That will have a bit of painting, but haven't done that yet. Going to go around and do the stone chips just because the forecast is for rain, and actually it started raining now, so I just wanted to get out here and film this before the weather changed. So looking along this panel and that panel, no chips or dents at all, nothing to show you. The actual stone chips is really only that, and a couple of little chips along the edges of the door, but yeah, none on that side, it's just on the other side. Again, all dent free. The wheel trim's good here. Yeah, so yeah, nothing to show you there. So yeah, inside, as you've seen, there's a few scratches there on the bulkhead, and the ply has all been stained as well. just to tidy that up. What else can I say? Oh yeah, the ply is missing from the top halves on both these doors. I'd imagine that was taken out because those tend to rattle when they're held on with these little plastic blocks. I tend to silicone them in just to stop that, because with electric van they are so quiet, you don't want rattling ply like you get on all vans. But yeah, all very nice condition inside. Got the jack and brace there because underneath is a full-size spare. That's a new tyre on there as well. And yeah, nothing to really point out in here other than it's all very tidy. Oh, and the hardboard lowers as well are all very good condition. Normally they get dented, and because they're the original and it's only sort of 3mm hardboard. But yeah, they're all very good condition as well. So looking around this side, there are a few little chips, I guess you would call them. Little abrasions on the front bumper here, all very minor as you can see. The only other thing I want to show you around this side is there's a bit of scratching here on the wheel trim, but it's a plastic wheel trim at the end of the day. Bodywork wise, it is all really nice, no dents or scratches at all. The wheel trim on this side is all very nice, tiny little scratch there, but you know, it's just a plastic wheel trim. The tyre tread depths are on the website as well, and there's a couple of little chips on the edges of the door where they get opened into things. There's another one there as well. They will all have a bit of paint dabbed into them. A bit of the other thing I was going to say is these back doors have been painted at some point. I'd imagine they were done before it was handed back to the finance company by the previous owner. It's quite common. I think it was just the lower halves. It's a bit difficult to tell, but I've had the panels off and had a look inside, and there's no denting, so any damage was very minor. But I have had to have this door resprayed again because it was a pretty poor job and they'd actually just sprayed around the number plate. So that door has been resprayed with all the trim taken off and a new badge here as well. There's no chips in the windscreen, and on the bonnet one tiny little stone chip there. Again, that will have a bit of the correct paint put in it, but yeah, really clean and tidy. And then on the inside, driver's seat is all in lovely condition. Then I'll just move my bit of paper there. We've got a original Kangoo hard plastic mat there, all very tidy underneath. A bit of scratching around the key there on this plastic, on this cowl. You always get that. This plastic they fit there tends to scratch very well. If you don't put the key in straight, you tend to mark it, but all bog standard Kangoo stuff, they all do that. But yeah, all very clean and tidy. And the roof lining is all clean with no marks either. And then looking inside on the passenger side, all in very nice condition. The seats have been washed as well. There's a little bit of staining still on that edge. I'll have another go at that. But yeah, all very good condition as you can see. This van is also still covered by the manufacturer's warranty. All the details are on the website, but the van is still warranted until October this year. The electric powertrain, that's all the high voltage components, so basically everything under the bonnet is for then another further year, and the battery pack is for another further year beyond that. And the battery packs are really good on these. You've got absolutely no worries there. I know there was a lot of rumours about batteries will only last 3 or 4 years. Complete load of rubbish. The reality is that battery pack will probably last the life of the vehicle, and typically they degrade at 1% or less per year. But as I've shown you, this one is still at 99%. So I think that's about all I can show you. All the information about the range you would expect from one of these, and charge times, and the warranty that's remaining, and all that sort of stuff is all on the website, so do go there and have a look. If you're interested in this van, then give me a call or an email. I can deliver these anywhere in the country. It will come to you on a flatbed and it will be fully charged and ready to use.